Nick, thank you so much for being here with me today. I am so excited to be able to share your wonderful company with the world. I think it just has enormous potential to solve a lot of pain points that we hear, from folks calling into workplace abuse, saying that they really need help, not just documenting things that may be happening, but even preventing things from that may be happening. I think it's really incredible that you came up with a way to help people through hard conversations, which just has an enormous potential to block the really bad things from happening and let HR pros, let managers, let employees solve problems while they're still small before they get really, really big. And so thank you so much for being here. Please tell us a little bit about Personas and, what was the impetus? What's the story behind the story? What made you create this amazing tool?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for asking and thanks for having me, Kim. So our background really goes back to it's myself and my co-founder, Christian Thomas. He's the AI architect. He's just brilliant at the software side of things. I went more of a corporate route. I went to a big financial company. I've gotten into leadership at the ripe age of 26 years old. We knew we were going to do something on our own at some point. We knew it was going to be AI, just the way that things were trending, but we weren't sure what that missing piece was going to be for years and years. And then we actually went and did a big disc assessment with my team out in Boston. And it was wonderful. It truly was. It was one of the best days we've had as a team. We were really collaborative. We were learning things about each other. We were so close to taking that and really hitting our next stride. And we found the second we got back to Denver and we were talking a little bit of his team, that information, that really powerful science kind of got left in a packet in the bottom of a drawer. So what we wanted to do is how do you take something that's extremely powerful, researched, academically touched on, take that science and make it constantly applicable and actually start to help people in their day-to-day operations. And what's nice is there's a big case here right now where there's executive coaches left and right. There's big organizations. There's people who get that really powerful, constant advice from excellent professionals. What AI is allowing us to do is take that same level of coaching and preparation and democratize it to all of our workers. So now we're helping all the staff. We're helping them get better at what they want to do. But like you alluded to, there's a lot of difficult conversations that go out on a daily basis. So it's really nice to support people really when they need it. And that's what we've seen a lot of. That was the first thing I was told in leadership. They're like, you're good, but you're going to struggle with those difficult conversations. And I kind of rolled my eyes. I said, I'll be fine. And sure enough, it's the questions and the needs and the fears. It's the stuff you can't really prepare for. But that's the beauty of AI. Is it whatever variable or dynamic it is, you can adjust on the spot and start leveraging some science to make a good decision. It's a lot of fun.
Outstanding. So are you going to show us anything today? Anything
Let's
you'd
do
like
it.
to walk us through? All right, cool.
I think that's a great idea. So here it is. This is Personos. This is the landing page. You'll see it does have a very much an AI feel right at the beginning. And that's intentional, but I'll come back around to it because I do want to point out the assessment. So this is the 5-factor model of personality science. This one, like I alluded to, it's all academically tested. It's constantly researched, been around for decades and decades. But it is very scientific in its nature. That's why we haven't seen it in the corporate space, is instead of being a letter or a shape or a color, you're walking away as a score of 0.867 conscientiousness, which sounds great and scientific, but it's hard to remember. But more importantly, it's hard to apply. So you'll see the assessment's really easy. Each onboard takes 3 to 5 minutes. It's all completely private, which is an extremely important aspect of it, especially with the lawsuits and things going on like that. The fact that our people know right off the bat that their scores are not going to be shown to their manager and not going to be shown to their team. Right there, we're creating a confidant. It feels like a tool where you feel safe, where you can really give your honest thoughts and feel supported by a tool that's there just to leverage your own personality and your strengths. So once you onboard, you're going to start to see these reports. So these all feel familiar. It's your scores. It's really, here's the version of what you do for a living. But with the AI jumps in, it actually takes your actual company and this is what you do for a living. So if I'm a construction company or a marketing company, it knows that right off the bat because the advice you get in those different roles in different companies is really different and important. So here's the scores. I'll cruise through this for the sake of time. But you are going to get this full report
Yeah.
that talks about what you're great at, some things that you can be aware of, different pieces of your really complex and unique personality. So people, when they onboard, they do love reading through this. It's fun. You take an assessment, you have that sunk cost of, okay, what did I just do? Where did it go? Now let's start reading it into it. But what's the most important part of this tool, like I alluded to in our story, is, okay, here's your personality, here's your science. Now what? And what we really focus on is putting it into action and taking steps to pursue a goal, to fix a problem, whatever it may be. But it's also very achievable. We're not going to say go become the best public speaker of all time overnight. We say start by asking a question that gets you comfortable talking in a group of people, those types of things. So you'll see throughout the report, you can click on these different sections, learn a little bit about yourself. You can break it out into the chat and learn more. But I think the big differentiator, if you look at the other side of things compared to like a chat GPT or a Claude, is the fact this is AI and it is an LLM, but it's comparing it with relationships. So it's not just the best personal assistant in the world. It's actually going to be a one-to-one of me and Andy, a one-to-one of me and Jim, etc. And each one of these has a custom report built for them. So you can see the overlay of the two personalities. It also takes into account that maybe I'm his boss, maybe vice versa. It takes everything you would wish this tool would know and brings it into the AI algorithm so that the outputs, whether in the report or in the chat, which I'll show here in a second, knows that this person is this person. Here's how you see them now. And let's start working on the strengths between the two of you to get the best possible outcomes. So here's that. And then context is a really important part. So you'll see like here's our teacher to student version. We have executive coaching situations. The context is a big piece because personality science in itself is really strong and powerful. But the context of what else is going on around you is kind of our general theme here. So you can add more information to share about how you get along with Jim, what do you know about Jim, etc. And you can also create groups. So we know, especially in the corporate world, there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of meetings with groups of people. This allows you to see that same type of personality science, but in a collection of people. This all taken into account also can be changed with context, and you can change the groups at the click of a button as well. So it is really inclusive, but what we're trying to channel here is just what is the best possible outcome this group can get collectively. And then as fun as that is, like I said, I love the reports. Everyone loves the reports because they're always there. They're always dynamic. So if you change something, they will update in real time. But the learning curve really starts with, okay, I have a problem right now. How do I start working on this? So what you can do is you can type in, for starters, a personality. So you can tag them. And then you can just type away. What is going on? What's the very unique situation to you that you're concerned about? And how do you start solving it? And you'll see here an important piece. Again, the other LLMs out there is it's going to ask you a question if the question is necessary. It's not just going to give you an answer because it's the best possible user experience. It's going to dig in a little bit further so it understands, what's your outlook on it? How did this come about? And then it starts breaking down your problem one by one by one to help you find the correct resolution. But when you see somebody tagged, you can tag groups as well. That means their personality science and their framework and standpoint in this company is being pulled into the chat. And this is where you really start digging into, again, the concept of difficult conversations. So there's this huge going on. I don't even know where to begin. Somebody said this. Is this over the line? Again, you can type it from your perspective, create that confidant type role for yourself, and start understanding that I didn't do anything wrong. Here's the best thing I can do, and start taking it step by step. So it's all really free form. It's the power of AI. Some important details, again, is the privacy, because nobody can see what you're typing in here. Nobody can see your responses, anything like this. It's all private to you and your company. Personas ourselves, we cannot see that. And then it's protected in the encryption side of the larger language model. So privacy is a critical piece because if they don't feel like they have the trust to type what they need to into this tool, then we're not going to get anywhere with it. And then this as well. So we can not only customize this, but right off the get is the framework of, okay, this is not ethical. This is not something we're going to support. And we're really glad that's there because we don't want that.
I'm
We
glad
get
there's
calls.
guardrails here.
Yeah. It's fun and it's necessary. That's what's power is. I mean, the LLM, and we use OpenAI version 4.2 right now. It's extremely powerful, but we built this algorithm on top of it so that it's safe. The ethical aspect is really important. We don't want to touch on this. We don't really think anyone should be touching on this with AI. That's our strong belief in it. So we built it so that nobody can even get to this point. Same thing with all the psychosis studies out there right now. We're going to stop you before this gets out of hand because this is meant to be purely productive and positive.
That's outstanding. Yeah, no, because my mind was already going there of how can I get someone fired? How can I cause someone
Exactly.
harm? in some type of way. Yeah, too many years in HR. We'll see that.
Yep.
So no, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's
Any
it's
particular use
interesting.
cases that any stories in particular that come to mind that people have used this?
Yes, there's been a ton. We love getting phone calls as to, what people are using it for. That's the beauty of AI is people are like, I built a graph in it yesterday. I'm like, that's fascinating. I didn't even know it could do that. So we're constantly talking to customers, but the first story we got was just hilarious. It was somebody in marketing sent $25,000 to the wrong vendor. Apparently the vendors had similar names and they cashed the check. So that's a perfect
Oh,
example of what do you even do? You don't go to Google. There's nothing on Reddit for you. Can you talk to your boss yet? Can you not? Where am I right now? And she put in the whole situation, typed out a little novel, and it explained, here's your boss's personality, kind of jumpy, kind of reactionary. You got to rip the band-aid off and call him. And then it went step by step by step. And she kept going through the chat and say, put it in smart goal format, put it in all these kind of different steps. But a really difficult challenge that's simply typing
yeah.
it out, has the problem, and then getting some next steps. And sure enough, they got the money back, no problem at all. Just a really,
Oh,
again, unique problem that got solved.
outstanding. Yeah, no, that must have
Yeah.
been terrifying for her. I can't
Oh,
imagine.
yeah. Yeah, I was getting a lot of updates on the whole situation. It was funny to hear about, but now I mean, she's a loyal user, uses it for everything. And it is that learning curve of here's the biggest problem I have right now. I'm going to throw it into Personos. And then you start
Yeah.
to take it like a vitamin. Now I want to get better at things. Now I want to get promoted, etc.
No, outstanding. And then, like you talked about too, I need to ask for a raise. I need to talk
Right.
about, a challenging colleague. I need to talk about some of these things. Because I find that even with a lot of managers too, that they want to engage, but they're so afraid of saying the wrong thing that a lot
Exactly.
of people won't engage. And sometimes that can really impact a culture and environment in a powerful way. So I think what you created here is beautiful.
I
Really, really.
appreciate that. Yeah, we're having fun with it. It's a lot of unique conversations with AI. There's this level where at the very top when you build on an organization. It takes exactly what you do for a living, like I alluded to, but also your mission statement, your values, what are your goals, what are your top selling products. You can put that in at the top level. So this whole thing for the whole org can be extremely customized, which is leading us to talk to some really unique groups. There's not like a set niche we're tackling. So we're having some really fun conversations, and they go exactly like this. Like, I'm having this problem at work. Can you type it in real quick? And sure enough, I'm like, let's see what it spits out. So
That's
really great to
amazing.
meet some new people.
Well, what's next? What are your big dreams for all of this?
It's a very good question. So, I mean, it's like I alluded to, we're trying to democratize a science that has been kind of held to the executive suite or just people who can afford it. It's something we want to get into the hands of as many people as possible. So we would love to see, big companies, small companies, medium-sized companies using this for their whole team. The whole concept of a rising tide lifts all ships. So we love the fact that sure we can bring on a leadership team of 20 and it's actually, extremely helpful in those settings of all the conflict. But when they can bring it down to their teams, and there's people in call centers, there's people all over the place who are making really important decisions for an organization as a whole on a daily basis. Every time you're touching a customer, every time you're answering an email, those are really important pieces for a company as a whole. So when we can help there and mitigate any risk and just kind of get the team together a little bit better as is, that is our goal. Is how do we really just take the best part of companies and lift them? Because with the rest of AI, the rest of the world out there, so much is to be automated in so many different departments that 5, 10 years from now, all it's going to be left are the people. And that's who we really want to lift up and support.
Oh my God, that's a lovely story, and you're a lovely human. So that was really
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, really appreciate you spending some time with me today to walk through this awesome product that I think really can do an enormous amount of good in the world, and really help a lot of folks out there that are struggling, with this at scale. And every type of organization. I really love the fact that you even parse this out for a marketing company versus a construction company,
Hmm.
because right off the bat, you're typically dealing with very different cultures, very different types of individuals and personalities, and then drilling it down the way you do, it's pretty unique. I've never seen anything like this.
Well, I appreciate it. And we appreciate the work you do as well. supporting a great
Oh,
cause,
thank you
and
so much.
it's fun to meet some new people, like I said.
Yeah, no, and very proud of the fact that you're also one of the co-signers of the Workplace Psychological Safety Act.
Sure
And
am.
so
Happy
we
to do
just
it.
had our 200th organization sign on with us,
Wow.
so it's really huge. And we'll be in Washington, D.C. this week, meeting with D.C. council members and meeting with U.S. Senate staff aides and
Wow.
continuing to push this conversation forward. So you've been really wonderful for the end workplace abuse effort there. And we're definitely grateful for you, Nick.
Likewise. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time today.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.